there, everybody. It says that I am live, and I can tell you, indeed, I am. Of course, that's dependent. Let me get the microphone a little closer. Wayne Steiger. Okay. There we are. Okay. So I think I got this. All right. So again, welcome everyone. So good to see everybody. And favor be upon us all. Here it is, Wednesday again. Wow. Time flies. So what's up? Hope you're having a really, really grand day. I am. Let me just turn my volume down there so I don't hear myself coming and going. And geez, that gets confusing. Although we're going to be talking about a word that when we communicate to others, implies much more than usually what is said. So anyway, favor be upon us all, nothing missing, nothing broken. We're prospering, we're abounding. We got that veil of protection. Favor works 24/7. You speak it enough and you sow enough seed that you eventually have completely maxed out this space over here, and then you get that overflow. That overflow goes over into the next realm. I was talking to my lovely wife last night as we were having dinner, and I said, isn't it interesting that we're giving clues all the time of two different perspectives of this afterlife? In one, it seems to be doom and gloom. Man, you're going to the worms and you're nothing more than food, for something else. And whatever happens to you when you leave here, well, no one really knows, but it's, hey, it looks like to be a bad thing. Then you get this other narrative that says, well, don't store up earthly treasures here. Store them up in the ethereal. Well, why? What is the need that I will need, or any of us would have need of basically making deposits in the next realm? Okay, something to think about. That's all I got to say. So again, welcome everybody. Thank you for being a part of this journey. You enhance my existence, and I trust that I reciprocate in kind. So welcome. Hello, all the moderators. How are y'all? Hello, DC. What's up? Good to see you, brother. Emperor, good to see you. Amy, hello. I think I saw her last name was Gypsy, I think, as I saw that. Forgive me. I'm just catching up on the roll here. Dave, how you doing, brother? Good to see you, Jargo. Genetically modified. Good to see you, Deborah Sloan. Robin, hello. Jill, Anne, hello. Let's see. Janet, did you write something about Sunday night? Is that right? Kind of like a world peace thing. And I just caught it briefly as I was trying to catch up. Hey, Peter, good to see you, brother. Linda, hello. Much love to you, darling. Lady Elite, hello. Yeah, well, if it's going to be contagious, let's make it a good one, right? It's like, yeah, man, I want more of that shit. Let's just get right into it. But I think that's a fantastic idea. So it's as I understand, I think the gist of this is that you wherever you are, and I think I got that right, it'd be like 9 p.m. Central Time here in the United States. Just go out and light a candle, put a light up. Yeah, I like that idea. I can get behind that. So let's see. Thank you, Jeanette. So it's called Light Up North America for Peace this Sunday, February 19th, 10 p.m. Eastern, and then go Light Up America for Peace. I like that. Timothy, what's up? Good to see you. Raven, hello. Going to get Raven on here. Got some others too. AK, good to see you. Musgrave, what's up? All right. I like that. I mean, we all can get behind that. All about it. Um, because, man, there is just so much weirdness that is. I mean, you remember as a kid the Jiffy Pop, you know, popping popcorn in that aluminum thing there. Genius idea, loved it. But anyway, I mean, it's like we're inside the Jiffy Pop. And whoever is driving this thing, and I still haven't figured that one out, they're like doing this number, and man, we're hopping to here, we're hopping there, we're popping there. Oh man, the next thing you know, we're going to be nothing but Rice Krispies. I don't know. Hey, Chloe, how you doing, darling? Good to see you. Bonnie. That's just my take. Could be totally wrong, but and if I am, well, you just love it. Thank you, Chloe. Yeah, I love this hat too. This is part of my attire got from Hawaii, carrying the vibe. Hey, this is my story from the state of Washington. Well, welcome, Mr. Floyd. Love me some Jiffy Pop. Yep, you got it, brother. Yes, Bonnie, there we are sending out prayers, thoughts, healing. I mean, that what's going on out there, it's part of this whole cycle. And if you ask me, just my opinion, it's like it's being done deliberately. If it would really be kind of freaky if this was happening naturally. I mean, that would require a little powwow, and we'd be passing the pipe around going, so what the fuck is this about? Because, it's natural. It means that it would be the natural course of something. What, I don't know. But something. Now, if it's not, Occam Racers then says once you've eliminated all possibilities, you're left with just what you're left with. Which would say that this is being done deliberately. And what human would do that? I mean, what agenda to what end? Crazy. Misunderstood Saint, how are you? If that is the place, yeah. Oh, that's interesting. That's on Netflix, is that right? Misunderstood? Called White Noise. Interesting. Wasn't there a movie? Who's the cat that played Mr. Mom and then Batman? Keaton. Yeah, that's interesting. A lot of this stuff going on. What is that? Regenerist? the machine. I love that. Now that is originality. Hey, Gilbert, how are you doing, brother? I hear you're digging out a little bit. Can't say I'm doing the same. So, man, sending you warmth and yeah, spring is coming. They say, hey, Scotty boy, what's up? Good to see ya. So I want to address something because, and then we're going to get into this thing. That's kind of the title of the show, is it's right there in front of our eyes. I was reading this book I'm reading, and it led to another thought that it's interesting as a culture, a society, how we've imprisoned ourselves by the very way we communicate. And then you think about it, the very language itself, print. We don't think about this, but for our species to graduate from, I don't know, if you want to say telepathy, okay, I can go for that, but then we regressed. And then to reach a plateau to where we could write. Wow. So print. And with print, it's kind of like Sanskrit. And then we went and did a thing called cursive writing. Now that's some weird stuff. Because if you think about it, cursive in its truest nature is derived from the word curse. So we teach us, and I understand, I don't even think in some schools they don't even teach it anymore. But imagine all the generations that were taught cursive. My 5th grade teacher, Miss Buttons, wow. She would wrap your knuckles, boy, if you did a, print A and then a cursive A, and you, all I got to say is that kind of goes, okay. But then you just sit back and you think about this, and chat room and everyone that's listening, thank you for hitting the like button, and hey, subscribe, check and make sure you are. But anyway, so you're teaching children magic. You're teaching them about the occult. In fact, you're teaching them how to become cursors. All under the guise of writing. Wow. Deep, I know. Deep, deep, deep. Hey, Loretta. Isn't that interesting? They stopped. Wow, isn't that in the past weekend, spelling in cursive? I mean, the word's right there in front of us. Cursive. I mean, that's like being Hansel and Gretel and you're looking for the witch's house. Screw the gingerbread, man. We're just going to go right for the oven. And what a way to manipulate a complete society. Nah, nothing to it. Moving right on along. Hey, Suzanne, good to see you, my darling. Love the subject. Well, thank you. Language. Yeah. And that's what that cursive thing is, wow. And this is what I have found, that the girls always seem to have a better cursive writing than the guys. Then we went to, and this is interesting about AI, computers. Because with computers, it's the printed text. A computer does not understand cursive, or at least in its machine code of it, how it was originally built. So the damn machine figured it out before we did. Sure, we're real smart. Yeah, we're smart that way. All I got to say. And it's interesting. I say, hey, Mary Wins, how you doing, darling? Much love to you. And if you've ever been in a court situation, where you have the stenographer, that is a weird way. Because, how they're translating and how they put it into that machine. I mean, what can you say? Yosley, what's up? Says, my writing is so bad, I went back to printing as soon as I did. I hear you. All right. I want to address something here as a group. And I'm not calling the person out in nothing more than in a way to try to get communication, because I don't understand. And, when a person, when you take time to write a comment, you know, that's important. You're expressing who you are. But when we get to where when you say to me, you write in a comment that I am confused and I'm confusing others, what you're accusing me of is being an intellectual fraud. And sister, that don't work here. I may be a lot of things, but an intellectual fraud I am not. I don't have an agenda. I don't sell people things. I don't have ads placed on this channel. I like to have the flow where it's pretty much uninterrupted. And I definitely try to do my best at not being ambiguous. So when you write that I am confused, and listen, in the world of all potential and possibilities, yeah, but I've been confused most of my life. So, it's like, but when you're putting into the pretense that this is somehow, I am in this platform recruiting people, you're wrong. Not. Now, you said in the comment that you knew more than I did. That's cool. Doesn't surprise me. I mean, but you don't need to use it as a derogative towards me. Listen, if you're smarter than me, that's cool. I can dig it. A lot of people smarter than me. You wanted to know if I was open-minded enough to learn, because you said you knew more than I did. And I asked you, what was that? Because it's ambiguous. What do you know more of? I know some things more than others, and I know less than others that know. So, and then you came back with Christ. Okay, I can dig that. Now, you're making reference, I am assuming, and because, again, the ambiguity of what your words were, that you were speaking of a physical individual. Well, I can dig that. If that's where your head is at, then right on. Man, embrace it for all that it is. It's your belief. Ain't nothing wrong with that. It's good that you have a belief. But understand, just because it's your belief doesn't make it my belief. And don't get disappointed or your panties in a wad when someone doesn't see the remarkableness of your revelation. Most people don't give a shit because they got their own revelation. But in order to be fair here, because this is my show, so Kathleen, this one is for you. You see, I was of that mindset. You said that I hadn't studied enough or whatever. Sister, I've been here in that phase for 50 years. 50 years. I mean, that's like 8/10 of my life. I'm an ordained minister, Bible school. So when I left, Kathleen, the reason why I left is that I began to do the background check, not what was canonized or what was recommended by every religion of every aspect of this Abrahamic belief system. And Kathleen, there is a number of books, if you wish, that might challenge you, but it should. when we get so comfortable with our beliefs that we no longer, we lose then the ability to be more larger perspective. So, and it was interesting that this came about the way that you pointed. The first book, when we began to realize, and when I started really looking at language, Kathleen, and excuse me, the fact that that's the only thing we have is the printed word. Now it's gone through a lot of reiterations. Greek in a type of Greek that doesn't exist anymore. Latin, then into what we now know as English, German, I mean, all those aspects. And the thing about it is, Kathleen, this is my talk to you, if you and I had this opportunity, and this is one that we'll bring in the whole group in. I can dig the idea of an individual, a Superman. This would be the equivalency today of the Avengers. This is what the Jesus dude would be. But our journey started when we realized that the letter J never existed in the turn of the century. Not in Aramaic, not in Hebrew, not in Greek, not in Latin. So there could never have been an individual named Jesus Christ, because Christ denotes not an individual and not so much a title, but what it does denote is a state of consciousness, a state of mind. So when we began to find that out, a book you may find interesting, I encourage you. We've had this for well over a decade. I highly recommend it. As you can see, it's called The Search. It's an historian's search for the historical Jesus. I'll be a spoil breaker. Never found one. Another book I would highly recommend is this book here, Kathleen, on the historicity of Jesus. We might have a reason for doubt. Now, I say all that because I studied this thing out. And when you said that I'm confused, I really am not. I have a very logical mind. It's sharp, too. So now I want to bring reality into the equation. So when you find out that this cat, this is Josephus, and here it is right before your eyes, our eyes, one never stops and looks at, well, who wrote this? Josephus. Well, that's half true. Let's be not intellectual frauds here. Actually, who wrote this was an individual whose name was Flavius Josephus. There's a problem right there. Because we would have today, if this was going before a jury, we would have a big problem, a conflict of interest. Because if you really did your history, you would find out that the Flavians were a family, a crime syndicate. I say that in jest, but they were a family. They did a number of things for Rome. But they also did a number of things on Israel. And that then brings us to where the stories come from. They come from a general who was the general of the Roman legion, the Eastern Legion, named Flavius. All right, are you ready for this? And this is why people get so confused. Vespasian. Who the hell is Vespasian. People in here know. Most of you do know. If you don't know, it's a great little reminder. Well, you see, Vespasian was the general that was trying to clean up the Vietnam that Rome had, and that's what Judea was. Judea was a modern-day Afghanistan. And it wasn't working out for the Romans. These radicals, the Jews, they were really good at guerrilla warfare. And the Roman legions were suffering losses to these attacks. So they brought in General Vespasian. He cleaned the mess up. Now, the problem with Vespasian was when he was alive in Judea. So 30 AD, we have this general right there in Jerusalem. I can tell you what, no perceived rebel, the Romans hated large crowds. They didn't dig that. They were under military occupation. And it wasn't it was a prosperous time only because of the strength of Rome. So how am I getting to this, Kathleen? Well, you have to begin to read, and I would really highly recommend get Joseph Atwill's book, Caesar's Messiah. You will find out that it was made up. Now, I have one last witness, and then we're going to move on, folks. So getting back to, again, the Josephus connection, you see, we know in his original writings, he never mentioned any savior, any rabbi that was leading this anti-Jewish revolution or whatever you want to call it. Wasn't there. However, we do know that the fraudster himself, which was, I think of his name, it just escaped me. I'm looking right here. Several things going on, Jerome, that he was a forger. And we know that what he tried to do to the writings of Josephus, which have been around for hundreds of years, he tried to alter them to validate that at least Josephus, this historian, he never was a historian, but would have give reference to the veracity and the validity of an individual. And then finally, my last witness is kind of my mentor. I really enjoy Philo. You should read him, because you find out something about Philo. It's that he went to Jerusalem in 35 AD. Well, whether you want to say that the event that everyone says happened, that never did happen, happened, it would either been during or probably right before Philo's famous visit. And why was he in Jerusalem? Well, because him and his family, the Alexandrians, were in business with the Herodians, and the Herodians were in business with the Flavians. Money and power are still the same, even if it was 2,000 years ago. So unless these three families had the ability to completely obliterate any writing, then you got to go, well, what happened here? I mean, I still contend Jerusalem was a cosmopolitan city. It was the Silk Road. It led into Indo-Asia, to Rome, and then beyond that to Spain. These were important ways of commerce. And again, Jerusalem had artisans, people from all over that region. It's a cosmopolitan area, they had hip parties going on. But my whole point is that we have found on the Roman highway pictures of women's breasts, their genitalia, which we call today pornography. Oh, it's amazing. We love pornography. Oh, yes. Oh, we want to be like, oh, no. But yeah, we can draw it. And so it survives for 2,000 years. But you're telling me that there wasn't one single artisan that was able to draw? You see, because that flies in direct contradiction with what King Herod was all about. And anyone who does any of their study of history would find out that the Herodians really knew the value. The reason why they were so valuable was that King Herod actually had the smartest subjects in the region. They were educated. They knew shit. Why? Because Herod made it mandatory from about the age of 5 until about the age 15, 16, you went to school. Anyway, I digress. So, Kathleen, there you go. Now, you may feel free if you want to come on and give me your point of view. Love to hear it. But I just felt that it was important that you understood, because you accused me of somehow being confused. And so challenge me where I'm wrong in this. All right. Much love. Moving right on along. By the way, there is another book. I'm going to have to get him on. He sent this to me a number of years ago. I've been reading it. Great book, The 5 Gods of the Bible. That's why it's so confusing. Which God are we talking about? Well, there's only one God. Says who? Well, the book. Oh, the book that has been reinterpreted, retranslated how many different times? Sure. Okay, so there you go. And let's see, I took only about the first 35 minutes, but it bothers me because I know very little, but I do know a few things. And so, and this is part of a history that hasn't been changed yet. I have no doubt that when whoever the new landlord is, will begin to try to change this. And yeah. So, hey, chat room, what's happening? Let's see. They can't handle the truth. And let's just give love to Kathleen. Listen, having a belief and a passion in that belief, there's nothing wrong with that. There was a time, I use, and it's interesting as I've seen both sides of the coin. I was a street preacher, but I was also one of those dudes that, I was an entrepreneur, sold non-taxable federal pharmaceuticals and herbs, Hey, Pin Greedy, what's up? Carolyn Higgs, how you doing? Whew. So yes, I understand. I say that because I was really, really high one time and met a person who I knew when I was awarded the state and had gone up to this Christian youth camp, which I loved. It's just a beautiful place. And remember the look of that. I still remember that moment. Holy cow, Batman. Yes. And then I've been out there, ones, trying to save people's souls. I look back on that and I go, what was I really a recruit for? I mean, what's this business of souls? If you're, an evangelical, proselytizing your belief all the time, you begin to think, now, wait a minute. What if, just saying, what if there's a bounty on souls? So you have all these different religions, right, competing for souls. And the souls that really become really high value are the ones that refuse to join these other soul collecting religions, or whatever you want to call them. I mean, even the occult is there. I mean, you have a coven. It's and inevitably the bullshit about your soul is going to come up. That's the problem I have with Magick. I'm not going to invoke or kiss any goddamn spirit I don't know. If it hasn't got the balls enough or powerful enough to manifest before me, well, it can kiss my ass. I love Magick. I have no doubt that these spirit beings exist, but I ain't about to kiss their ass, and I don't want them kissing mine. But I found out something. When you get to that point, man, now you really do become a high value target. Because if you begin to reject the religion and then the occult and the magic of that in the way that it has been compromised, well, but isn't that what sovereignty is all about? I mean, I could be wrong, but I just, simple guy, Hey, Zerlith, how you doing, brother? Good to see you. Mary, hello. Marie, good to see you as well. I mean, that's just how I look at this. Again, I mean, it would be like being in a sporting event and you don't know who or what this being is, but you got the name. So here you are screaming out its name. You've never seen it before. You wouldn't recognize it. I doubt if you'd ever actually be able to recognize its frequency or vibration, to be honest with you. But all of a sudden you start calling out, you do that, and you start doing it 3 times. Now you're getting into some areas that you best wait a minute on. Like, wait a minute. So, that's all I got to say. John Price says demons won't show their feet. Isn't that the truth? Hey, here's one, John. I was writing this down. So, can ghosts fly? I mean, can spirits fly? Been thinking about that. I mean, we don't capture any of them flying. All the captures we have is though they're walking. There are a couple that seem to be floating, but yet they still seemed a point of contact was that they knew where a floor was and they knew where a ceiling was. What's that about? I don't know. Let's see. Hey, Gary Baxter, what's up? Good to see you. Got to get you on. I know we keep on, we got to get that going. All right. So this has been fun today. This has been a lot of fun. Joyce Marie, good to see you. That was just my elbow. So I had to go out this morning and get blood work done. I'm going to tell you what, I hate needles. I mean, I really do. I mean, I hate them. It's been this mountain that every time I have to begin to use the concentration values I've known to transmute this mountain, back into the molehill that it is. But nevertheless, still had to go do it. And the nurse was great. I didn't feel a thing. And it was like, all right. So there we go. Aztec Avatar, what's up? Well, thank you. How kind. That I'm humbled by that. Good friend, thank you. You see, Carolyn, same way. That's why, growing up on the street when I did, listen, I knew people that were junkies. I mean, I knew people that were hitting up all the time on the cocaine and for me, it's like, no, I ain't putting, you ain't putting that thing in me, no way in hell. Yeah. And I look back and there was favor. I had I knew a guy, that Bob Osborne, man, he got the shit beat out of him one time, and there's a story behind that. And when we finally were able to get him out of jail, man, they had busted his spleen. And the sad thing about Bob was he was just I look back now, he was just a broken soul. He was a good person. He had a pain that, I don't know. He never found any way to deal with the pain. And it's true, we all of us have pain. It's one of the things we will take with us as we transcend on the journey. I don't know if there's pain on the other side. I don't know. But I have a sense that we carry that memory with us. Randy, what do you say? I always say this, but just love the way that you make my brain think about it. Well, much love to you, darling. Thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you. Thank you very much. And Elvis is in the building. Yeah. But that just blessed me, as they used to say. But I want to get back to circling back on this thing about souls. And people ask me, the nurse asked me, she says, well, what do you do? And I said, well, I have a little gathering each day, Monday through Friday, a few friends of us, we meet online. And then she says, well, what do you do? I said, well, we talk about philosophy. And she says, oh, that's nice. Until I said, well, occult philosophy too. And she literally said this, what the hell is occult philosophy? Ay, 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 ay. Well, you know what? You got to keep them guessing, right? That's all I got to say about that. Yeah. The hell's occult philosophy? You think about it, she's right. It's like, well, exactly what is that? Well, yeah, it's a hidden philosophy. Talk about that one and going, gee, why would philosophy be hidden? Well, good question. Apparently, when they teach us to write in cursive, cursing ourselves. I mean, what a bunch of crap that is. That's just total bullshit. And then you go through life asking yourself, well, why the fuck did that happen to me? Why? I didn't do anything. I was minding my own freaking business, and bam. Well, could it be that the fact that maybe if you were, particularly if you had to write a lot by hand, are you basically bringing forth, text incantations, that you have no freaking idea. You think it says that, but You know, in another perspective, it's like, oh yeah, okay. That's nuts. But I think about it. Everyone in my generation, that's what we did. Maybe that's why we screwed it up so bad. I don't know. But it is. It is so, so true. All right. Tea is exceptionally good. I get finished with this show today, going out and getting the chainsaw all fired up, and I've got to fall a couple of trees that have died. They're Carolyn, you're right. Plato did talk about these ideas. It's amazing. I think sometimes we channel these great minds. And, because in Plato's book concerning the soul, I get where he was at. It seems, because we debate this whole thing about, do we have a soul? What's the difference between a soul and a spirit? We've had these conversations. So I think we can probably settle that we have probably both. So as a spirit being, to say that you have a soul, I mean, that might be a really big deal. Because, you could take the other side of the argument and say, well, I sold my soul. Many in politics do that. And for people who have such a desire for money, for power, etc., they don't give a shit about their souls. They really don't. And if that type of commerce is possible, well, then this brings up this whole thing, contracts, So I'm sure Plato had the same thing. Oh, Socrates, same thing. I mean, soul. What if the value of you and I, let's just say Deborah. So Deborah, you and I, and then there's others that we really have figured this thing out, that the nurturing of these souls really, really is a big, big deal. Because once you give your soul, I mean, I think about that all the time. The terrible thing we teach children. Now I lay me down to sleep. Okay, can you go on? Do the rest of it. My soul to keep. If I should die before I wake. What was the last part of that? To take my soul? I mean, hey, London man, what's up? Good to see you. It's, folks, I mean, this is, so the whole idea, because, when I was in church ministry and government, yes, did you know that religion has a government to it? It does. Protocols, laws, rules, etiquette. And I remember it was always on Monday, the thing was primarily how much money was in the coffers and how many people did we save? How many souls did we save? And in fact, in some of those conversations, how many souls did we harvest for Jesus? Wow, some powerful witchcraft people. I mean, that's like, and I don't care what your point of view is. That's powerful occultism, man. That's deep knowledge, because I don't think most of them have any idea. And it was like another reason I left that religion when I was dealing with these national ministries. I didn't give a goddamn about anybody's soul. I didn't. And they didn't mind telling me that. What they did mind was how much money was coming in. Yeah. So anyway, moving right on along. What a show. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Ay, ay, ay. You know, I read, this is what bothers me. This is why we know something is really going to happen, folks. It may not be within, us boomers' time, but it's coming. So I read this today. The 53 counties in the state of Illinois, no student could pass the grade level requirement for math or English. There's a harvest coming on. Yikes. Joyce Marie says, talk about entrepreneurs. Miss, I would argue was. Hey, I like that. It's kind of, yeah, why do I need the middleman? It's really a good point. Here I am trying to catch up what's going in the chat room. But I certainly found out a lot. And it's interesting. It used to be a really difficult thing, of breaking away. And I can tell those that have sent me emails, and I've responded. I still have others. That's going to be ever continuing. I will get there. That it doesn't get easier. Wish I could say that. In fact, it seems like the more you gain in a certain understanding, you look at this and there is a certain sadness to it. I mean, we are human beings. That's the beauty of these souls, is that it comes with this, and it's not an option. It's actually standard equipment, emotions. One of the things I lost when I was recovering from the meningitis and subsequent Lyme disease is my brain was, it was running 107 temperature at one point. And the one area that I lost was the area of, some would say, compassion, caring. It was, another word for it could be the empathy, because it took a while to rehab that area. But yeah. All right, boy, off into another area. Okay. Johnny, I didn't know that. I am in, is that West Virginia? Northern West Virginia? Yeah, cool. I think y'all are talking about the event unfolding there in Palestine. Is that what it is? Ohio? Right there in Pennsylvania? Yeah. Wow. So I was going to do this, like I had this document, hey, Grace, what's up? Much love. Appreciate that. I can dig that. It's like, yeah. So to focus in, I had this neat PDF, this document, and I think I can actually pull it up. So it's called the, as you can see, the esoteric alphabet. And this is what really kind of, when I was looking at this, that I went, this is what we're talking about. And to be candid with you, I hadn't gotten in as deep into it as I will. So we'll do this again. But the little areas that I was able to scan, get out of here. Moo. Hate those little things. But I thought this was interesting. So The holy mind games. Come on, some of this is just really good stuff, folks. The real Adam and Eve. How many times have we read that? There's so many real Adam and Eves. You almost have to go by and think, well, the Samaritan story was probably true. Alphabet time. And I love that. Alphabet. Wow, break that one down. Roman letters or French letters. Contraception for individual expression. Oh, boy, I could add a whole bunch to that one. Why the alphabet? Vocations and health. Tarot. How about that? Letter power. Delivery. And we're going to get into this most likely tomorrow. Letters and their meanings. Why uppercase? Why lowercase? And you just got to go, yeah. So this is going to be fun, folks. It's got illustrations to it. And by the way, I wanted to show you this one. We'll get in Earth's Forbidden History. I just have to show you this. This is sometimes how I think it is in the spirit realm. I'm looking at this and, we're all hooked up to this machine, all of us. And there just isn't one of us. I mean, maybe the Matrix had it right. I mean, maybe we're in these vast realms of, hooked up to this consciousness, because this is what has to be what we're experiencing. This can't be our conscious experience. We're experiencing that which is already here. We're experiencing someone else's consciousness. But anyway, so this is the Chinese Emperor Quan Su, 5th century BC. If you are thinking 1 year ahead, plant seeds. If you are thinking 10 years ahead, plant a tree. If you are thinking 100 years ahead, educate the people. Be talking about that kind of crap. All right, so tomorrow we're going to pick up in here because I think this will be fun with the group. And again, Kathleen, we appreciate you. I hope that it wasn't embarrassing you, but just want to say favor over you. I enjoy healthy debate, and as long as we don't call each other's names, because technically, and I'll wrap it up on this, when you make an insulting comment to someone, you've just become Satan. It's the true definition of the word. Satan or Satan is really the accuser. So don't do it. All right. Hey, Brian, what's up, brother? I figured, well, what the heck, we get together anyway. Might as well make it fun. I mean, geez, that's all I got to say. Thanks, Suzanne. And by the way, I know, Trina, you're going to be listening to this, and so many others. But Trina knows this. So yesterday, when I was connected to wherever I was connected, I told Trina that, her daughter would be having a girl. Actually, and a granddaughter. Well, when we got finished with the show, I think it was about 30, 40 minutes later, sure enough, they found out. So you gotta love it. We got some deep people in here. I mean, because we all got the same vibe. That's why we jive. That's why we hang around and hang out. So I think tomorrow will be fun. Again, that cursive thing. What the hell were we thinking? Suzanne, you're welcome. All right. So everyone, thank you for being a part. Thank you for hitting the like button. And I so appreciate all of you. We can all have different points of view and opinions. It's fine. It makes it much nicer. As a chef, a cook, I love cooking with spices. It enhances the food. I mean, if you got to eat the stuff, I mean, whether it's a plant or whether it's, animal, I mean, it still tastes better with spices. I guess that's why we like the green stuff, isn't it? Alan, thank you. Appreciate it. Mary Wins, much love to you, darling. Miriam, thank you. It was a good chat. All right, Lost in Space. See you later. Maria, thank you, darling. Hey, Lisa, haven't seen you. Paradox Fossils. I like that. That's a cool one. Scott Shut Hats, good to see you as well. I'm going to head outside. Shadow Files, how you doing? Mr. C, later, my friend. And Matthew, very much as well. Namaste to all of us. And till tomorrow, Abra